Whenever we want to make a person lose weight, first we need to calculate something called BMR or the RMR. So BMR stands for basal metabolic rate, and RMR stands for resting metabolic rate. So for a fitness trainer, whether it's a BMR or a RMR, it doesn't make any difference. These are the same for us, BMR or the RMR. The meaning is the amount, this is telling us the minimum amount of calories that is required for the body when you are at rest. So when a person is at complete rest, what is the amount of calories that is required to sustain the body? So that number is being told by the BMR or the RMR. So first we need to calculate what is the BMR or the RMR of an individual. So we have multiple formulas for this, and this is not the real way of figuring this out, but there's an empirical formula. So you'll use for men, this will be the formula. The RMR value will be 9.99. You need the weight of the individual, and plus 6.25 into the height in centimeters, minus 4.92 into the age of the person, plus 5. So for women also, you have a formula like this. So the number one thing for us is to figure out what is the RMR of the individual. So once you find out the RMR, it is giving you the minimum number of calories that is required for you when you are at rest, right? So when you are at rest, whatever is the calories that is required to maintain the body, that is this particular number. Here, for example, now we can put in all the numbers. I'm not doing that. But let's just assume that this number comes out to be 2000, for example. So then what we are supposed to do is we are supposed to multiply it with an activity factor. Why we multiply it with an activity factor is because this number that we have derived now is telling us the kilocalories when we are at rest. Obviously, nobody, even the most sedentary person, is not going to be at rest. They're going to get up, walk around. In order to factor that in, we are going to multiply whatever we got with the RMR with an activity factor. So what is that activity factor? If you see that the person is a sedentary individual, a sedentary person is a person who does little to no exercise. So for such a person, we are going to multiply the BMR with 1.2. Similarly, a lightly active individual. So who is a lightly active individual? Somebody who just participates in minimal amount of exercise. That means what we generally call as a beginner to the exercise. So those people will have to multiply their BMR with 1.375. If you're moderately active, that means most days of the week you exercise, then you'll multiply it with 1.550. Similarly, if the person is extremely active, like an athlete, you're going to multiply it with 1.725. And if a person is extra active, that means the whole day they're involved in some physical exercise or work, then you're going to multiply it with 1.9. So depending on the person's activity, you're going to multiply it with an activity factor like what's been shown here. Once you do that, so let's just assume that the person is moderately active. Here's what we are going to do. We are going to use 2000 as the BMR, and you're going to multiply it with 1.550. So if you were to do that, the answer that you're going to get is 3100, right? 3100. So this becomes your maintenance calories now. So 2000 was your BMR, you multiplied it with an activity factor, and the answer that you're getting is becoming your maintenance calories. What is the meaning of maintenance calories? This maintenance calorie of 3100 means that if a person were to consume 3100 kilocalories, and if the person were to continue exercising like the way they are exercising right now every day, they are not going to lose weight or gain weight. So now, in order to lose weight, what needs to be done? We found out that the person's BMR is 2000, and we have multiplied it with an activity factor of so much, and therefore we have found out the maintenance calories, which is 3100. So if the person wants to lose weight, we'll have to do a calorie deficit. Now, this calorie deficit can be anywhere between 100 to 500 kilocalories. It can be more than that also, but then, a lot of things will have to be put into place if it is beyond 500 calories. And therefore, conservatively, we keep it below 500 calories. So, for this example, let's say we are doing 500 calories deficit. So, there are multiple options in order to do this 500 kilocalorie deficit. How do we do it? We can first keep exercising the way we are exercising right now, but eat 500 kilocalories lesser. That means we are asking the client to eat only 2600 kilocalories, but continue exercising the way you're exercising right now, by which you will have a 500 kilocalorie deficit on a daily basis. And you should know that 3500 kilocalories is equal to 1 pound of fat. 1 pound is roughly half a kilo. That means in 1 week's time, that means every day, if you did 500 kilocalorie deficit, you're going to lose about 3500 kilocalories. That means half a kg fat loss you can expect per week. Now, this is one option. The second option is to consume 3100 kilocalories itself, which is the maintenance calories, but you exercise extra 500 calories than what you're doing right now. You continue exercising the way you're exercising right now, but we want you to, do an extra 500 kilocalories exercise. This is the second option. Or there is a third option. What is the third option? Eat 250 calories lesser. That means 2850 calorie you consume through food, and you exercise extra 250 kilocalories from exercise. Whatever you're exercising right now, you exercise extra 250 calories. All the three options that you have is creating a calorie deficit of 500 kilocalories. So this is the way in which you make a person lose weight, one of these three options. Also, you need to understand it's not just this 2600 calories, it is not just 3100 calories. So once you have this 2600 calories, it needs to be, you need to have all the macronutrients in a certain proportion. So usually it is about 50% carbohydrates, and about 25% protein, and about 25% fat, usually, like give or take a little bit here and there. And mind you, these 50% carbohydrate will have to be healthy carbohydrates like grains and whole grains, and vegetables and fruits and all that. And these 25% protein will have to be healthy protein, and of course this 25% fat will have to be healthy essential fats. That's what we are looking at. Now, similarly, if let us say a person wants to gain weight, now in when it comes to gaining weight, it's a little bit of a iterative process. So taking the same example, let us say there's a person whose daily requirement is 3100. This is the maintenance calories, let us suppose. And if this person wants to gain weight, we are going to initially start off by increasing the calories by about 500 kilocalories. And let us say the person has to consume 3600 kilocalories. Again, like I mentioned, this has to be in this kind of a ratio: 50% carbs, 25% protein, and 25% fat. Now, again, all healthy versions is what it has to be. Here, a lot of things will have to fall into place. So, what is happening is the person is consuming a larger quantity meal right now. So, larger quantity kilocalories, and therefore, probably we'll have to share this among multiple meals. 3 big meals instead of 3 big meals. And if the person is finding it very difficult to consume all of this in 3 big meals, we try to break it down into multiple smaller meals. That probably could be an option. Or maybe if we go in for something like this, huge quantity, and if they're finding it a little difficult to digest, probably changing some of the carbs to simple carbohydrates, some protein which gets into system much more quickly, like your whey isolate, things like that. So that probably can be looked at. But the option is this. So you need to increase, and this is a calorie surplus if you wanted to gain weight.